this is Divine Sunshine, and this is the Playground Experience with my co-host here, April Williams and Kathy D. We got a special here. We're simulcast on two channels. So we're on Divine Unisouls 11, which is the community tab, and then we also have our own the Playground Experience. In case you can't find us, a couple people say I can't find that Playground channel. You'll be able to hit us on both of them. So we'll see how this works out for you guys, and let's just take it from there. So April has a very good topic. She sent it over to us. She was so excited that the iPhone couldn't even catch up with her dialect. That's how. So we're gonna let her go and tell us about what she's been inspired for us to be our topic for tonight.
Okay, so there is two topics, I guess, and they interweave together. And I'm going to pull up the text message just to make sure that I get this right, or I even know what I'm talking about, right? And you know how April loves to go down the cosmic rabbit hole, right? I'm just dark matter. I'm a what do they call those? A black hole. That's offensive. That's offensive. I'm not even going to call myself that again. But anyway.
I got to put my on that. What she say? A black hole?
Welcome to Freaky Friday. Feel free to freak it out. Anyway, so there's two major things that were coming through for this time. One is my son is like in a screaming stage, so let me know if that ever gets distracting for anybody more than me. And if I'm ever just staring off like this, you know what it's about. Okay, so there's two major things. One is that feeling of the lovers coming together, the divine feminine coming in love with herself. When we interact with and communicate, like our existence, what we're interacting with is the love of our life. And be that work, be that our home partnerships, be that our children, we have the ability to really create much deeper response and resonance and energetic working with. So what I wrote is that everything is our lover, or divine. This is not typed correctly at all. Divine. It's written so bad, people. Man, talk text got me messed up right here. You got me messed up. Talk text. Okay.
Too fast. Way too fast.
Everything is our lover or our divine consort, and how we communicate with our energy. That is what actual love is. That and fear, we can heal from that trauma if we treat our fear as if it's our lover as well, right? So when you gently love your fear and you say, where is this coming from? And yes, I understand you, but we can grow together. We can grow past that. And your fear, it allows itself to mature, because we're carrying a lot of that throughout our process right now, especially in this great awakening and this huge love, fear, rise up right now that we see what's happening in our external matrix. Okay. And then the second one is, it was really cool, the idea of insurance, right? And so as our souls come in here, we've been insured and told, all of us signed on for this awesome process. Hey, Mimi. We all signed on for this, and we've all been assured, and you can feel the other side. I know you can feel that lightheartedness space, but some of us are in disbelief. And when we let go and start to go in our flow and trust the process, things start to come together and start to give us our security, stepping in to that love with spirituality.
Yes,
because
it does.
as the Aquarian age is here, it's clearing out the old things that didn't work from the last paradigm. So anything that's fear-based, anything that's like trauma run and ridden, is getting purged out. And that which the earth does not agree with for her divine creation she's starting to wake up out of it, and she herself is showing her face, and you can see it in all of our earthly turmoil, I guess you could say. So yeah, which one of those went? Which rabbit hole you want to go with? This is a two of wands situation. You can pick one or the other, but no worries. We're both gonna get back to where we want to be. Okay, so I guess we'll go with the second one. I like the
You're
second
muted.
one. I'm muted.
I'm sorry.
No.
Oh,
I muted because the babies was back here playing and growling loud, and I said, "Let me stop." You know, the one
yours too, huh?
yeah. So yeah, so yeah, my furry babies were acting up too. The one I wanted to address maybe first is, and that's a little near and dear to my heart, is the clearing that is coming up for us to clear out. This past weekend, I was trying to get rid of some of the dead leaves off of a plant. That's usually is on my third level, or yeah, second level of my house, and it kind of is in big grown so big that it's all the way down to the first level. As I was doing it, I said, "Oh my God, I feel like I'm picking cotton." Now, where that came from, where that came from, where that came from was interesting that I had said that. Down later on in the week, I started having pains in the back, in my back. When I looked it up, it stated that that is from ancestral times of weighing heavy, of being from the powers of people being under the control of other people. And so that causes for you to have that problem in your back like that. Hey, okay now.
no, I know it's right. She's getting there, and our
Right,
kids are acting up. I mean, they're coming at us, y'all.
right, they coming at us, yeah. So that caused that. So when I found out I was saying this about ancestral clearing, I went on ahead and did several things. I did one thing was I did some light language because I heard through somebody else that was saying, I think her name is Elizabeth, the paranormal priestess. Uh,
Yes.
Stated that it was some things were coming up energetically from our bodies physically that was coming out because it was either housed in their DNA, it's been at cellular level, all those things, and to get rid of it. So I seen this week it actually occurred with me. It got triggered from me pulling leaves off of my plant, and I said, I feel like I'm picking cotton. I don't know where that came from. And then before I know it, I had an ancestral release that in my body. It was like, oh, good, she triggered. Now let's bring that up to the surface in my body. And it's been all right there, my back and carrying. And when I looked it up, it's talking about the burdening and the heaviness and being underneath somebody's foot and their power and not being able to express, which has been triggered by what's been going on in the world with us with the vaccine and everything that's going on, and it seeming not being able to express and having freedom. And it seems like everything that's going on in the world is like re-triggering some of the ancestral trauma that has even happened in my lineage and timeline that's being showed back up that has to be dealt with and to be released. So you are right. That is really, and that's what that made me be inspired. That I said, okay, I've got to release that ancestral um, class that I had, because I went back and I re-listened to my own self talk about it. It was some things in there. I was like, I was talking to myself. It's like, yes, you need to do this. You need to do this, and how to be able to clear things, and how I had a channel message even in the class where I went back and I seen one of my ancestors, which she was taken away from her slave house or whatever like that. And she was like, I can't trust no one. And then that helped me to understand about how I had pretty much through the generations had found myself expressing that I can't trust anybody. And that's really in some ways, sometimes I do have those days like that. And how that's coming up now, they're saying, okay, now it's also spilling out into every other area. So these things are like, they are really, this stuff is like, it's just being like pulled. out of us from like no freaking where that we have to deal with. I've even found myself just weeping and crying. Because
Yes.
it's
Mhm.
the very weepy this week. This for like myself. I'm looking at the movie. It was about the father, and I was crying not only for Anthony Hopkins' role in which he played very well, as a role as a having dementia, and they played it well. Like you felt like you were in there. I told my mom, I said, feel like I need to take my own self to the senior home because you can feel it's like they would change things and things that he knew was facts. The next minute it wasn't that, and I felt myself weeping for that for my dad. I felt myself weeping for my mom and her experience, and I felt like I was weeping for all elderly or seniors that were out there that had to experience that. Then I watched another movie earlier today, which was called Worth, and they were talking about the 9/11. That again, those people that had experienced that and being the survivors of that. 9/11 is happening on tomorrow, and looking at that about Worth, and they had the main character played by, oh my God, I can see him. Anyway, Michael Keaton. It was played by him, and how at the beginning of the movie is almost spoiler alert. He started off as just a numbers guy. He just wanted to crunch numbers so that when the victims came, he would give them a certain amount. It's $200,000. That's it. Set you on your way. Be happy. And the people's like, hey, wait a second, we people. That ain't gonna do for us. No, $200,000. And so I found myself crying for that. Like, how have we gotten as a people, as a state, that we have gotten to this point like that? So I found myself just crying for like the world, which was very interesting, which is like, I've never been so open. I think our heart chakras are open. We become very vulnerable. We're very sensitive about not only our plight, but to others as well. So all of this stuff is like coming as we're opening up our heart chakra. And I'm in
Mhm.
agreement with April. It might be a long rant, but my thing is again, we're being opening up as we're lightening up. All this stuff that's not allowing us to be able to feel and be in touch with our heart is getting rid of. That's being asked to be saying, they're saying the word sloughed off of us, because they said that as I looked at each one of the movies, the theme to me was, it was something else I watched. Oh, it was clickbait. The theme for me was, we have forgotten how to be human, because we are so busy about either getting the numbers, like it was the guy in Worth, about giving everybody $200,000 for the liability claim if they wanted to sue the government. It's about also trying to get the story out there. It's about us forgetting about that. Also, it's about that human connection that we have. Really, our purpose here, that human connection, as far as us and us being heart centered. So I've been very feeling that again, in order for us to get to that, we've got to get that altitude. We got to lose some of that baggage. So I'm in total agreement with April, what she's saying about that. I'll be quiet because I know I went on a long rant, but that was it. Yeah, thank you, baby. My baby backed me up. Okay. We're back on mute. Anybody else can take the mic.
Well, my little puppy, my little baby man is running around with a small garbage can on his head, jumping on my bed. It's literally like the cutest yet like unnecessary distraction. But I thought he was out there struggling, but he wasn't struggling. And it's interesting that you're talking about this because I had something very similar happen. I watched Cinderella, the new Cinderella, and I love that one for my own particular reasons, but I just couldn't stop weeping through the whole movie. And then I started to realize what it meant, what I was seeing, right? Because when you wake up, you see things differently. You realize and remember the experiences of your ancestors. So when you keep hearing me say the dead are coming to life, they're coming to life in you as well, right? So the memories and the things that you hold, and your gender holds energetics too. No, he didn't. Son, leave those alone. Yes, 2 boxes. Good job. I'm so glad you can count those. Anyway, uh, not my cards, baby. Oh, hold on. But okay, thank you. He's such a. I mean, when he came in, his soul was so strong. He used to show me doing body work on people, and me teaching him how to do energetic healing on other people. So he came in on this plane with a whole nother story. And apparently he's going to pick a card for us. I don't usually do cards, but apparently he's picking a card for us and putting it in the trash can. Whatever. Follow through. So our DNA is waking up. Our ancestry is waking up. The dead are coming back to life, as in all of their cries for freedom, all of their cries in pain, all of the atrocities that we have held as a species, because they've attempted, and I say they because it is an external they, but it's also an internal they, right? So when you actively choose to feel in your body and to experience something, then everyone now has that a little bit more space and capacity for that. When you step into your light and your consciousness, what do we got? The Knight of Wands. When you step into your consciousness and your space of being, you allow your ancestors to step forward. And some of these agreements we've had, the Eight of Wands. Oh, this is a lot of Wands conversation. Knight of Cups. And justice, just so you know. Justice has been coming through majorly. Majorly. And right now we're in a state of
Pull them cards, go on, nephew.
we've been put, and then he left. He just straight up left after all that. That's all the message he wanted to give you, and the universe confirmed that. So we are in a state of unrest. The earth herself is not happy because we haven't been living in harmony with her. We've just been trying to take advantage and get what we can from her. And we need to realize we are a we, right? So putting pressure on everyone like this and seeing what those in power are claiming that they're doing for our best interests, it's it's just it's just sickening, right? And so if we take the time to sit and figure out, no more of that, please. Stop it. Okay, hold on just a second.
Take it away, Kathy D.
Well, you were talking about having the movies affect you, and April talking about being emotional, and I think we're all getting it on different levels. Mine was this weekend. My DM's daughter had was it this weekend, last week? I don't know. The weekend that she had her baby shower, and just the overwhelming pain, as if I knew I needed to be there, and feeling his emotions and him feeling mine, and like our 5D right now is very, very heightened. And so it's like it's an emotional roller coaster for both of us. I kind of have a little bit better grasp on it than, like, he knows what, he doesn't really know what's going on, poor guy. And so we're just kind of, but it's everybody's having these, from, Benita's having, things like this go through, like she's really having some eye-opening things come in. Like she never thought about it, but she saw where she became very, and to know Benita outside of, what you guys see on video and stuff, I have to tell you, she's probably one of the strongest women I know. When she puts her mind to something, she does it, and that's just that. She's not one that is, I need somebody. I mean, she'd do it her own damn self, get out of her way kind of thing. But when she is in any kind of pain, she said she realized she becomes very needy. She wants somebody there. She wants somebody to take care of her. She wants somebody to, kind of make her, I guess, feel better, or kind of validate what she's going through, the pain part of it. And we've noticed that our pain reactions to things have become very different, as well as we're, moving through these things. And I think that a lot of that's that ancestral stuff that we're talking about, because things that normally wouldn't affect, it's all of a sudden. One of the things in my oldest daughter's language arts class, they're talking about the Salem witch trials. And normally I'm like, yeah, that was a travesty, and I just kind of let it go. And boy, the other day, I mean, it triggered me, and I mean, triggered bad. Tears, and it was just not fair, and just all this angst just came out of like nowhere. And it was like you with the plant, it was just like, it was almost like I could see it. And then I remembered my grandmother telling me a story about that we had an ancestor that was one of them that was, burned at the stake at the Salem witch trials. And it was actually it was a male. So it was very rare that it was a male. But yeah, but they were Quakers, and they believed a lot in kind of like the Amish. So maybe, Tammy, this might be my connection to the Amish that I truly love. But they did everything very holistically, Quaker oats. We all know how that is, but because he had such a connection or unity with the land and the plants, and so the doctors couldn't heal people, but he could with the things he knew, and just using Mother Gaia. And they burned him at the stake for being a witch.
And so now let's extrapolate that back into now,
Mm-hmm.
right? People who have alternative methods of relieving and surviving through this experience are being vilified and being made out to be monsters or idiots. And it's quite apparent to everyone now. So I wasn't going to do this. Dang it. I'm making a note. I wasn't going to do this.
Did she say she's
But
making toast?
Quaker toast. Quaker toast.
Dang it, I'm gonna make toast now. I just can't stand it.
So my 9x9, right? For those of you who do ceremony, okay, I'm gonna put it up for a limited until the retrograde is out. Okay, so you don't have to buy the kit for me, but if you buy the kit for me, you have almost everything you need to get the kit going. But it's a process that has been linked already through time. I've made the video, but I didn't actually add many words to it. So if you want it, maybe you should like email me or something. But you could see the concept of the ceremony. I talk a little bit about what the ingredients are in it. I posted it. I will make it not private anymore for a little while, for everyone to get on this, because it's masking that which is trying to mask us. And this is the time where the greatest, what was it? I saw a meme just before I came on this, was talking about, it's like it's time for clapback, right? But we need to build that clapback because we're getting so much dark magic done on us, right? And we can tell it's almost like offensive how blatantly they are sheepifying. They're trying to vilify certain people. It's not whether you choose or it's not whether you do or not do. It's your choice, right? And then they're really polarizing the subject. And then you can see also that there's a lot of like bait and switching. Like, oh, we're going to talk about this is too serious. We're going to switch it over to a war thing to make you feel uncomfortable. And then we're going to switch it to a certain time of year so that you have already been programmed for this time of year to be able to be so easily triggered. But we are the divine feminine, and we're purging that which has been toxified for us. So watching Cinderella, the stepmother had given away the daughter, basically had betrothed her to someone and gave her away. I realized how many people had been betrothed. Oh, I hope so.
No,
I hope so.
Block him. Sorry.
Yeah, I didn't vote for him.
No, I don't know who that is. Take him off, but I don't know why.
I mean, he's kind of cute. I think Koreans are cute. Just saying.
Wait, what is he saying? You see that?
There's only one part of it that's in English.
Yeah.
So that would be great because of the mandating, because it's not okay. And you know what? Even though we're striking, the biggest strike will be us sitting the fuck down and buying nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And sitting there and saying, you know what? I don't like it. I don't buy it. I don't like it. I'm not going anywhere. I don't like it. I'm not okay with it. But so many people, we need to be distracted. We need to be out of our pain body. So the main pain thing that I was trying, I'm doing my best. Lord help me, she's got ADD. Then you flash up young L or whatever. Anyway, so the daughter had been betrothed, and the guy was just looking at her, right? And it was one of those she you know the story of Cinderella, so she didn't go off with the guy. Um, but
Confirmation.
what happened was she ran off to protect herself and go follow her dream, and that's I thought about how many women weren't able to do that. How many women were raped over and over again under the pretense of what they called marriage, on the pretense of being said that they were owned, right? How many women on this planet are still having to deal with this outphasing? We are currently having this war on females and women. And I think anything you do to a child is what you do to a woman, because a woman is an extension of a child. And people are being so traumatized outside of their body that they even can't even hear that these things are happening, or they get triggered to the point where, oh, I didn't know I was doing that or saying that, or and that's because we've been conditioned into this world is not okay. We are not okay. If we were okay, we will be able to sit and enjoy that rock on the porch, but all we did was let ourselves be terrified or numbed out for the last 2 years. Right, and then we wanted to say, I mean, if you think you have, I mean, yes, I love to think that the I love the ideology that we're actually voting to create a better world, but look at what is actually happening, and how many lies or mistruths have we been told, and we've taken those people that said what was going to happen now with the mandating and all this stuff, we made them out to be crazy people. We made them out to be conspiracy theorists. Well, I guess it turned out it's real, right? So maybe we get to restructure what we actually think is truth, and we get to read between the lines, right? Because it's our time. It's our time to slow down and actually use critical thinking. It's our time to actually solve our world's issues and our society's issues. Hey, what did he say to you, Mimi? Go ahead. Drop that T. Drop that T. Here on the playground. Drop that T. Make a sandcastle with it. Drop that T.
Gentleman, she talked about Asia up here early, and then right after she did that, he drops all that stuff about Japan may strike over the weekend.
Everybody needs to be striking everywhere, honestly. How do we take back from centralized government? They are spending more on privatized prisons, building privatized prisons and the military than they are our future education of our children, or actual technology that could help like clean groundwater and stuff from all of the pharmaceuticals that are now in the groundwater. Nobody talking about that though. I don't know what that's about. People ain't ready for that. Or maybe they are. Maybe they are.
Well, she got the I am is the most powerful metaphysical tool that can create any person's reality. And these media sources are telling people who they are subconsciously. That's true. These people.
I think they're just straight up, not even subconscious. They are blatantly saying, "I am a puppet."
Right. These people are this way. Therefore, it must be possible for me. Therefore, if I feel this way, I must be, and therefore I am. Yeah, they've twisted it around. I'm in totally. This is where I've been toting a long time ago about practicing discernment and really truly knowing about who you are and not being swayed by. It's very easily, and I know even with things that are going on in the world, it's very easy for you to want to kind of sway one way because you got other things happening. You're being cut off from certain aspects of the world, certain rights and privileges because of things are kind of now anchoring down and hunkering down and closing off and stuff. And you have to really be very powerful in your reserve as well as to knowing who you are and whose you are. This is a great test for you as well with everything that's going on because, like I said, some things are putting you at odds with maybe other people and their belief systems. It's kind of isolating you too as well. And so and the media has been doing that. I think beforehand it used to be subconscious. They're bringing me like the 50s. I can see the 1950s with the ad and the young lady with the pearls and the nice thing. And they were like subconsciously they're trying to promote submissive to your husband. Okay, they didn't come straight out and said it, but you could tell by the thing, I just look pretty. I don't have brains. My husband does all the thinking and everything, and like that back then. Now here, like you said, they call it pushing the woke agenda, which I haven't heard it before. And so now, they call what's so called woke was for a positive thing, but now they're using it and spinning it to their own usage and their own advantage now. Too as well. So we're becoming woke too in the spiritual. They're becoming woke in the physical as well, in the 3D or just in the world. But then they're also taking it to spin it the way that gives them more advantage to them, that they can be able to use it in the way that in the manner they want to. That's the difference. That's the interesting. I always remember when I was in school for business, they were talking about the trickle down theory and the trickle up theory. So some of the things that we have in the spiritual community has now kind of also influenced into the 3D. So that's the trickle down, because that spiritual is high down into the physical, into the 3D. And so that has, but now they learn to say, oh, that's interesting. I can see how I can put a little hocus pocus, locus ocus on that and spin it to my advantage. So, this is where we are on that too as well.
Did you talk about how propaganda is an art form, or it's a science that was actually brought here by a German scientist after Nazi Germany, right? So they took a bunch of scientists from that Nazi era. That's how they ended up getting the Nazis to do all that horrible stuff to the Jewish population and community, is because they put them in a fear state and they stressed them out to the point where, and everybody was on meth. They used to prescribe that stuff. They used to prescribe meth here too. They used to prescribe cocaine. So if you're saying, oh, this is the one, it's I can get a script today, but tomorrow I'm gonna have to get mine out on the street. Maybe your government is not all you think it is. Maybe your medical isn't everything you want it to be. You know what I mean? I mean, but not that everything needs to be. You don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You take the good, you take the bad, you take them both,
and then you actually. Oh, sorry, wrong one.
Well, no, I was thinking about it because I was like, are they the facts? Because the facts can be manipulated. We found the facts can be totally however we want them, and this change is happening. But see, this change is not the way they think. And this is how you know they already won, right? Because Emmanuel stomped all over the devil with his change, right? And the light being stepping all over the change, right? God is with us, stepping all over the change, in control of how much, right? And the I am, if we're going into the I am, is God, right? So I am so powerful that everything I do for myself and with myself, with focus, and not scattered through fear, not scattered through stress, but with my focused intention, I can control this entire world, right? And if you think that, if you say that to yourself, right? I am taking this act of self-care. I am making this purchasing choice, right? I could either buy from Amazon or I could buy from this one particular small seller. And I want to support the small business because I know that's an individual. This isn't just slight trickle down where people might be getting underpaid somewhere. This could be undercut and made from child labor. I don't know all that, but I do know that this person made this, so I'm going to buy it directly from them. And that small little choice is going to make a huge ripple effect. You sitting there and meditating instead of letting yourself just, over some TV or some food. Now, I'm not saying there aren't some wonderful times. I mean, I did just watch Cinderella. It was great. And it was nice to have that release, that cry, and then go through that with the yoni steaming and forgive my ancestry. All of them, all the women had to forgive. All the men had to forgive. All the people who had been robbed of power and robbed of choice had to forgive, because it's not a matter of they or me or us or them. It's a matter of everything. And it doesn't matter where we start as long as it's now. and it keeps going into the now, and we keep forgiving into that moment.
Mhm.
Because as much as we want to say, oh, reparations will make up for slavery, no, it will not. What happens with the epigenetics of putting someone in slavery or people enslaved for hundreds, if not thousands of years, when we weren't slaves before that, but because history stops at a certain point, you're made to believe X, Y, and Z. Whoever told you the story made you believe it. But you know deep down that doesn't make sense. And so if you think beyond it, a lot of people have that stuck where they're cognitively dissonant, right? Like, oh, you're talking to me about healing and health or how you're a whole new person. Well, I'm cognitively dissonant to that because I know that I'm this. And if I'm this, then you're that. And so all of this in relation. But if you breathe in your healing without attachment to someone else's response to your new way of being, you know that you will be have fully integrated because they can't step in. I'm using tons of metaphors layered on top of each other, and I apologize. So if I a little bit stretched out in the metaphor, I'll try. I'm doing my best to hone it back in. But we are all powerful. So taking the time to care for ourselves, it will help heal not only ourselves, but the people that gave us blood and who are related to our blood,
Mhm.
the earth that we're on, right? Because and all of the cells, because we're multicellular beings, and only one out of every 12 is actually human, right?
Oh.
So if we realize how connected we are to everything, we're going to start to see the ripples of energy faster and faster with our own self-love and self-care. Even if that means turning off social media for like 10, a day, so that you're no longer swayed but in vibration with yourself, because we care so much. We want to take away people's pain. We want to alleviate suffering. We want everyone to feel safe and cared for. And my post today was on Instagram: I am safe. They are safe. We are safe.
Mhm.
And just by repeating those three, right? Because you're going within the I am, without the, and then together. And that means everything in between, right? And it starts to alleviate the pressure that you can feel when you feel personally responsible for all the chaos in the world, right? I'm just like, if I could just get that one little bit of inner peace, I, I swear to goodness, there would be heaven on earth already. But there are parts of me I don't want to accept. There's parts of me I don't want to look at. There's parts of me I want to judge. There's parts of, and everybody's got a little bit of this and that. It's like this and like that and like this. And I'm just saying, there's a little bit.
Yes, you can get with this and you can get with that. Or you can get with this and you can get with that. You can get with this and you can get with that. Or you can get with that. But this is where it's at.
Mhm. Engine number 9, reminding me to put the 9x9x9 on my channel. So go to Golden Life Unlimited, like and subscribe me. I'm going to be putting the 9x9x9 ritual on there. I don't think you have me. I think you just have my website.
I just do okay, that ain't gonna help everybody. But
But if you want a kit, I have a kit with the mirror, the candles, all the stuff that, except for the plate. Looks like they're screaming for it. You scream, I scream, we all scream for the 9x9x9 ultimate protection ritual.
yes.
Yeah,
Golden.
and it's a wonderful thing if you are feeling these triggers like we're talking about, be it through a movie, through just an activity, just a conversation, and something pulls this up, you really need to get this. All of a sudden, my throat chakra, I don't know what my DM is up to, but it's like I'm choking. Um, so yeah, it's something that you definitely need to do, but we need to also take this time to kind of assess like the things around us, and removing triggers that we don't need, that just aren't worth it, because there are just certain things that we're purging. As we're purging emotionally, we need to kind of be purging physically as well, because all things carry energy.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been, there's just been so many different things I've read about, holding on to certain things and getting rid of things. And I think a lot of it is as we purge physically now, because we've kind of purged our 16 bags, a hefty bag trash.
I think
I
so.
might have I might have a Walmart bag full of dirty Kleenex, and that's about where I've gotten it down to.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think, now it's when I physically look at it and go, oh, but you know what? That's connected with that. And you start seeing, okay, that's connected to my fear, and that's connected to lack. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to get rid of that.
And the difficult ones are the ones that are the ancestral ones. It's the ones that keep following you around, and you're like, I swear, I got rid of that thing, but it's really just underwear stuck to the back of your pants, and for some reason nobody told you, right?
Mm-hmm.
But spirit is showing you by allowing you to be triggered and bring it up and out of you. And a lot of that is what you're talking about, is alchemizing through the body these emotions and allowing yourself to be embodied. I mean, can you imagine? Yes, you can all imagine because you have it all in your blood. Just being suppressed, being whipped, being raped, being violated against your permission. A lot of this is what's happening. And a lot of people, they're in the position where they're doing what they need to do to survive, but our earth is through and over that, right? And that's where we're having this energetic polarity shift. And for twins, especially, getting to anchor into this higher energy. And so there's a lot of holding the line, but you've been insured, baby. You insured yourself by being able to even have this conversation and get here, that you are blessed. You are golden. This is the golden age. It's just the dark ages before that golden dawn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and talking about that we're blessed and we're insured and everything. What comes to mind with that is right now too. I don't remember whose channel, or I saw it on Instagram or where I saw it, but that we really have to take that leap of faith with our intuition. If we want things to move forward, we've got to take those um, leaps of faith that trusting our intuition. Um, just about different things like that. And I think we need to, like April's saying, with this ancestral, um, kind of purging and the stuff that we're getting out and we're getting rid of, we need to take this time.
Somebody weird on here again? Oh, okay. I was just making sure it was somebody
No, my
weird.
bad. That was too much. I'm sorry,
Oh,
girl. We need to take this time. She's laughing at me. I'm
okay.
just
But and like we were saying, as we're purging for ourselves, we're also purging for our ancestors, and we're purging not only for our ancestors but for our future lineage.
Right.
And so you made such a, and I thought about it when you said it, because um I don't think you've ever lived down in the South, have you,
I
Divine?
lived there when I went to college. I went down there in Atlanta. I lived in Atlanta for
Hmm.
4 years,
But like as a
and I didn't
kid.
stay there. No,
Hmm.
hell no. I'm excuse no.
um well, being in South Carolina for the years that I lived there, we saw people, picking cotton and picking tobacco, and that is back-breaking work. But we have to understand that the divine and the way we work, everything's a cycle.
Mm-hmm.
We see our cycles and we have a choice to either repeat them or break them. And I know some of us right now, and I know I'm one of them, it is like I feel like I'm about ready to get kicked back onto a hamster wheel that I want no part of. And I am like digging in my little hamster feet, trying to back away from that wheel, because I know what's coming if this doesn't stop, or if this isn't moved, or if this isn't getting rid of it, this isn't taken care of, I'm going to wind up back on that wheel. And I don't want to be back on that squeaky wheel. I'm tired of it.
Mm-hmm.
But we go, so everything in life is a cycle. I mean, and so we have to, when we clear these things, it might not be per se, doing something manual now, but it's something that maybe, that they have done through. And this is a whole, if you're interested in a lot of the stuff that's going on right now and you want to read something that's interesting and then sit and watch CNN, I guarantee you won't watch it for more than 5 minutes. You'll turn it off and probably never turn it back on again. And it's called Dark Psychology.
Mm.
And it is actually the methods that are used and different phrases that are used by the media, by the media, by narcissistic people, by abusive people, that get us to do things that we, on the other hand, it makes it seem like it's our idea. And to hear those things and to see that that's what's going on is extremely scary. And so we've got to get in here and we've got to follow our intuition and we've got to break these cycles. And when these triggers come up, we can't ignore them and we can't just push them down. The days of pushing that crap down is
That ain't
over.
work. Yeah.
We got to let it up. We got to let the explosion happen and we'll clean it up afterwards. We've done it before. And we've got to get it out and we've got to, get it cleaned up so it doesn't repeat itself, because we've got a whole nother generation that is going to be faced with unimaginable things, especially if you read Dark Psychology, and the way that they can manipulate us, even as strong as a lot of times we are and as smart as we think we are. So much of it is programming just from our families. And I remember being a proud American was a major thing, like, with, my family and stuff, and so you would never say anything against the government. And so every time I do go to say something, I kind of feel my grandfather go, "Ee," he kind of, his spirit's kind of like, because it's uncomfortable. But I don't think he would sit back and just agree with this either.
Mm.
So we're really torn with so much of this, and not just with the governmental stuff and the vaccines, but like eating. Like, what are we eating? What are we putting in our bodies? What are we reading? What are we listening to? What are we putting into our brains? What are we breathing in? I mean, to spend any amount of time and research any of this stuff, you'd probably want to be in a bubble, and not April's kind of bubbles. No, a regular bubble and
No,
never
you're
come
gonna
out.
want both of those. You're gonna want
Yeah,
both of those.
you're gonna want both of those. Well, you should already have the April type of bubble. So, but it's really, it's insane when you think about it, and that's where our intuition comes. I keep hearing that, and I keep coming back to
Everybody,
that.
woo!
Yes.
Sorry.
I mean,
Preach.
even my karmic has said to me, and actually said today, I got this feeling something was going on at work, and actually avoided a major accident that could have damaged the building and everything. And he was like, I don't know what made me do it. I just did it. And I said, it was your intuition. It was your gut feeling. When you trust that, things work to the best. I wanted to then say, I've been telling you that for years, but I didn't. I just was nice about it. But I mean, so
Good
even,
job.
I know, so even people that are not on the twin flame or the light worker paths are feeling these things.
Yes.
I mean, so it's like everybody's feeling this. So, and be mindful of that when you're out in public. I know we don't all go out in public as much as we used to, but really, be nice to people, be a good human, be a decent human. Everywhere it seems like they're shorthanded on workers. People are, I mean, they're scared. If you had to go out into, mainstream, and some of us do, and but not have the understanding that we're protected and that there are so many things that Mother Gaia provides for us to build up our immune systems and to keep us healthy, um but we didn't have that knowledge, and you were put out there and it was your choice of, paying rent and your car payment and making sure your kids are taken care of, or, sitting at home and feeling safe. It's kind of a scary thing. And so, please, be mindful, be a decent human. with these people because we don't
Exactly.
understand what they're
Compassion.
going through. Yeah, we don't know what they're going
Compassion
through.
for all of us, really. And
Hmm.
so if we look at this, if we take this opportunity to feel this pressure and to have so much compassion for ourselves and ask ourselves, what do I really want to change that I'm avoiding changing?
Hmm.
What is it about myself that I don't want to look at? Right? Because people don't even want to have this conversation, right? They don't want to have the conversation about exactly what's happening because it fuels and triggers so many things inside of them that they feel argumentative and defensive and all this stuff. And I'm just like, kill them with kindness, baby. Love you to death, because I understand that I need that too.
Well,
And
right
there's
now, one
several
thing
ways. Mhm.
I was just going to say, right now, the one thing we need to do is be mindful of hearing other people and acknowledging that we've heard them.
Mhm. Mhm. That's a good start. That's a good step. That and gratitude, right?
Yes. And we've talked about gratitude for years.
Right, right.
And now we've got to step it up and not only be into gratitude, but acknowledge that we've heard what the person has said, especially if they're feeling like you're saying, April, kind of defensive and weary and scared. I mean, all of our lives, those of us that have grown up in this country, we knew that to a point there were certain people we could trust. And right now, if you haven't learned to trust your intuition, you're kind of feeling very lost and very vulnerable to who to trust and what to listen to. And so, yeah, we've got to, reiterate that we hear what they're saying and then in a calm way say, but have you thought of it this way?
Yeah, that's what I said. I felt the theme, and then we get to Margaret's theme, and which is the spirit has been bringing to me the theme of be more human, which means again less on the like the guy in the movie. Where's this numbers? This is $200,000. I don't care about the story. I don't want to hear about how your husband got killed in 9/11. Just hey, this is what we talking about. He was trying to sell and tell them about the relief fund for the survivors of 9/11. And like I said, at the beginning of the movie, he was pushing his agenda. And the people was like, hey, what about my son? And, and they started telling him stories. And he was like, yeah, but I want to get back to my agenda. And they was like, no. And then, as you see it progress through the whole story towards the end, you see him become more human. He's like, he's listening to the stories. People were buying into it and starting to say, bringing more people into participating in this funding because they weren't before because he was so by the numbers, so robotic, so automated that they didn't feel like he was really sincerely hearing them, like Kathy D, and their problems and about how they had to support their family off of that money that they so-called were giving them. So again, like I said, I seen that that's a theme that spirit wants and my spiritual teams have been pushing. What they mean by being human is more listening, not know I got my own agenda I'm pushing or I'm too busy because I got X, Y, and Z to do, but to actually listen and hear. It's a difference between you just sound, but then I'm listening and I'm comprehending and I'm feeling you. I might can't understand your things, but at least I can empathize with you. I can maybe see your pain. Margaret talks about I've been feeling a current shoot through me and it hurts, then my usual aches and pains were worse. I don't know why I suddenly can feel what's going on inside me. It's like I'm short circuiting inside. Okay.
Circuit. That's excellent. Congratulations. You are
It
now
is. It's
fully online.
fantastic.
Being aware of something, being aware of our internal world on with the physiological is huge. Usually the electrical currents have something to do with your healing energy, right? And I remember us talking last time about you doing or in the funeral and giving that empathetic, like energetic space. And so our powers, those people who have been practicing and cultivating are getting supercharged, and we're only going to get stronger from here. Um, just breathe into it and like relax. And that's a really thing that's easier said than done. simply because there's usually pains that come with it. There's usually external triggers for internal releases to happen. Like it's just like a really funny little dynamic. Like my friend and I, and if you're still on here, Lori, what's up? But we both went through stages of having hot flashes. You know what I mean? And it wasn't like we're going through the wise woman transition. We're like going through legitimate, like hot alchemizing, like, okay, flashes. And I'm being told to play certain types of frequencies and to keep these higher vibrational thoughts. Because in order for me to really be effective in the world, I think it's going to be better to come with a love set than it is a war set. Because the war set's the old paradigm, and that's what they want. They want you to fight. And that's how our medicine works, is fighting versus flowing. And we are getting into a state of flow again. We're divine feminine, but there is suppression of the divine feminine because we are afraid of her when she's wild. We're afraid of nature when it's wild, right? We want to be able to control and predict it, and you can't. But all I can say is you don't poke the mama bear, and they are poking the mama bear right now. The earth don't need us. We need the earth, though.
Yes.
You keep drilling more oil lines when we don't need them. We just need to go ahead and invest in that. There's other types of technologies. We can, in a few breaths, in a few short, well thought breaths in a calm world, we could advance technologically, spiritually, physically, leaps and bounds in a very short period of time. And I know it's about to happen because that's the break within the golden age and the age of Aquarius.
That goes hand in hand. Yep.
But this last little diode, I'm like, what is this about? Like they keep trying to repeat rhetoric at me too, like this is the new norm. There's never been a norm. Unless you're on Cheers.
Hey, Norm. Everybody.
And people barely liked him for some reason.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, that was Cliff. I was thinking Cliff.
It was Cliff. Yeah, Cliff Clavin.
That was all right.
Dude, Norm never got laid for real, and he had some wife issues. Like, to be honest, he had issues with sexual. I mean, if you're gonna use the example of what Norm should not be, go ahead and watch Cheers.
We getting deep on the playground.
Metaphors for life. We stayed up too late, and we were able to watch Cheers late at night when our parents weren't looking.
No, I was old enough to watch Cheers by myself.
Yeah, we was too. That came on Channel 5. NBC. But we're supposed to be the gifts are becoming online, and more gifts are becoming much stronger. They opened it up there so we can be able to be more to see, more to be able to discern some things, so you get more ideas, more things are kind of coming together like puzzle pieces, and some things that you didn't understand, they're kind of showing more of the facets of the diamond, other sides of it. It's like, oh, okay, now I can see the underparts. I was only seeing the top part. So, you're getting a lot of messages. It's like, okay, this is why this is happening. This is why this is happening. And so that's going across the board for everybody. That this kind of eye-opening that. So I'm in agreement with you that we're at this point, like it's dark. I even had gotten to the point that I felt like that's my favorite movie, The Fifth Element.
I love that movie.
I love that movie.
I just thought she would be black, though. I mean, I don't mean to be offensive to people who are not black. I don't know. I feel like I'm getting more offensive the more I disclaimer like my offenses. So I just, if anything.
Yeah, I see where you're going with that. So
she had dreads, for goodness sake. There's no way.
Yeah, if you're the fifth element, you would look like you would represent the mother of
global majority.
Yeah, she should be in the mix to everybody. They're gonna probably do a remake of The Fifth Element. Don't even worry.
I hope so, and I hope they pick a thick girl like me. I would love to do my little arm. Talk about but
I see what you're saying, because it looks like again she'll be like what they said they thought at the end. All civilization is going to be a conglomerate of all races, and we're going to just have this one type of race that's going to be walking around. So I can understand that. Or
at least Asian,
Yeah. So The Fifth Element. I'm not in the rabbit hole. I know where I am. We're on the fifth element. We have there, which was at the end where she came there to save the world. And she was at the point that, Bruce Willis was like, she's like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to save the world. I seen about war and all that stuff. Remember, it's the last alphabet. And she's like, you don't want to press the W or something. And then it went all to talk about all the different kind of things that were bad in the world. And right now with the times that are going on, that's kind of what I was feeling like. One day I just felt like the elements was like, I don't want to do this no more. I mean, what am I coming here for? And you got all this extra other stuff that's out here. Why should I be shining my light when it looks like nobody, literally my light goes off on my computer. Nobody wants to, really do what's the right thing as far as us, as far as the truth about what's going on, what's happening, is about us being really unity and being in oneness. So, a lot of times we have to also watch that too, because there are some things that are out there that's trying to get us distracted and off course too, right now. And so those things, well, I just put it down for those things that are also, yeah, like she's growling, those things that are trying to steal us off course or steal our joy or whatever way that it is. And so we have to remember when we have those thoughts, especially for my overthinkers, there's again for that, leave her, hey, leave her alone. Those overthinkers like I am, they kind of play on that. So we got to kind of really make sure that we're guarding ourselves again, that we're not letting those thoughts kind of run away with us. When we find ourselves spiraling out like that, we got to stop ourselves and kind of say, hey, like I told the baby, stop. Yeah, cut it out. You got to have that kind of dialogue with yourself to say, no spiraling down the rabbit hole here. No, stop. Some of this stuff is not me. Some of this stuff might be the counterpart. It might be the world. It might be even people, that family members that sending off their energies off to you. So you really have to become very strong in your reserve as to who you are, as to getting those energies off. So I want to bring that to you, because the higher you go, like they say, the more light you do, the longer the shadow that's cast. That brings up again, the more light you shine on. Of course, just like moss to a flame, you're going to attract some interesting little things. I'll call them things. And so again, so you've got to make sure that you keep yourself guarded. You got to make sure you make yourself grounded during these times too, as well as you're even finding, or you're going through this, because a lot of things are coming online for you and you might not understand that, and a lot of things too, as far as that, it's a lot of things that are happening, paranormal activities too, as well as you're doing that, and you might not understand what are you drawing to you as well. So you got to make sure you're shielding and making sure that you're drawing the right people, because I had a client that was doing that. She asked for it unbeknownst, and they start, like, yay, the party's on. It's almost like somebody like house party where a kid and play, and they up in there. She's like, what the heck? Turning on lights, turn on. I went, hold on a second. I just asked her for an upgrade, and she didn't know what she was asking for. Fairies dancing and everything, and all that extra stuff. And so you have to use again. You have to make sure that you are welcoming in, but then also set the terms. And they say set the terms and conditions, because they don't know. They're so happy you're allowing them to, but some things you might not be ready for. And so you got to set the terms and conditions so they'll know that, hey, I'm ready for this, and this other stuff. I ain't too ready for. You might got to ease me into it, especially for those of you all that's got these new lines coming on board. Because I know even with mine, when I get upset or anything like that, I got a lot of paranormal activities happening. And she's like, my stuff is doing this and that. And I was like, okay, I'm kind of, and then she's like, well, I was upset too. I said, well, I was about to say I'm sorry, but now that was you that brought that up. So, kind of watch that too as well. That's just another layering as we're talking about this opening up, because also the veil is kind of, it's opening up for the ancestors. They want to help. They're making their presence known. They're doing a lot of things, changing, shifting things in the 3D to let you know, hey, It's very thin between where we are and where you are. Like we could just literally, we're here. It's very thin, the difference of it. So in case somebody might be experienced, I don't know why I came onto that and felt I needed to talk to somebody about that, but let them know that that might be that too as well. It's not always dark stuff. It can also be you called in for, since you're psychic, you're calling in this stuff, and you just got to kind of watch how you tone it down, the activity that's going around.
Well, and we can
Um,
also manifest really strong right now too.
Yeah.
So we have to be really mindful, going back to what we've said for a long time about our wording, and not only what we speak, but what we think. But this is also a wonderful time if you are able to visualize things. This is a wonderful time to go into that visualization, but I want to encourage you all not to see the how you get there, but to be in the moment. So
Yes.
who cares how you get there? You might have come in on parachute. I don't know. But it's that thing of, if you and, the DM are very big beach people, and you're out sitting on the beach and enjoying it. It doesn't matter how you got there, and it doesn't matter how you leave. You're being in the now, in that one little space, and you're visualizing it and you're feeling it, because that's where we get caught up on all this stuff. And we're being told over and over again, I'm seeing more and more people talking about this, that they're coming in, but not like we expected.
yeah.
So, you know what? I don't want to ruin the surprise on how he's coming in. I just want to know what, the feelings that are going to be there, and those kind of things. So get rid of the getting there and get rid of the leaving there, but just be in that moment with them,
We
and
love
just
you too, CPN Texas.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I know it's so good to see you.
My ex, the
Hi, CBN.
She stepped in, and like for a little while, there's a lot of draining happening.
yeah.
Um,
Oh,
you
Yeah,
feel
my
it,
throat. Yeah.
and I'm like running around, and I'm thinking, okay, usually this would like wear me out or something. I'm feeling way more energized, but I'm also feeling like a whole lot of clearing happening.
oh, that's what was
Mhm.
going on.
So yes,
You missed it
uh,
earlier, CPN. Divine had little orbs going on around her, and little feathers and everything else. So,
Right.
I mean, you were talking, and there was like little orbs that were coming in, and you were on a roll, so I didn't stop you. But yeah, you had little orbs, and then you had a feather come across right across the center of your screen.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And
Yes.
I was like, well, I wonder if that was doggy fuzz, because
No. No.
and then I'm like, no, that was not doggy fuzz. So you missed it. You would have loved that.
Okay, I'll watch it back on the replay. It happens all the time like that. So that's why I say, yeah, it's a lot of stuff, baby. We becoming magical. But at the same
Mm-hmm.
time, we're becoming magical. We're doing a lot of other little interesting little thingies. That's coming out. I'm coming on less like that's why I said, no. I don't want to say underlay. Watch it.
so that's part of why we do this. Why I promote the 9 by 9 by 9. Aside the fact that it actually really does work very well,
Yes, it
um,
does.
it helps get you in the. Because I'm a woman, and I like me some foreplay,
Oh,
right? And there's a lot of stuff that happens in the mind. So the process of going through the ritual is that foreplay of releasing, is that foreplay of protection within the spiritual space. And it actually does throw a whole lot of dust in the air, so people who are trying to aim at you can't aim. And the energetics that are aim and whoever's in your family line, and a lot of us are more connected than we think, because we're starting to see stuff clear up, and the conversations that we're having with each other
true.
are more
Yep.
real. Now, what you're being projected at via media, we're starting to find to be extremely filtered or falsified, or like, wow, they really did that person wrong right there. They threw them a bunch of shade. That's kind of interesting, right? Or they didn't even answer that question, did they? No, like people are actually opening into critical thinking. Now, there's those of us who've been in generations of fight or flight, and they're really hard to touch the ground. So not everybody's going to necessarily be lost, or not everybody's going to be found. Same reason there's still racism, right? Um, because they rather uphold the old paradigm stuff. But, we kind of just overpower that, or I don't know, we ignore it until it's quiet and it just changes its ways. Kind of like when a kid has a tantrum in a store, you
Mm-hmm.
know, like giving them all the attention. They're like, okay, I get attention every time I have a tantrum. Okay, I'm gonna have as many tantrums as I can. And it's like,
Right.
nah, bro, that's not cool. We're gonna go ahead and either shut it down or take it out or just let you be, right? You can let yourself look like a fool for a little bit. And it's nice because people are seeing people's individuality. So like if you see someone's mother acting, let's say Karenish. I don't know how my sister did this, right? But one of her exes who did her so dirty was named Karen. And I was like, she would make a whole verb out of her in the future for a negative connotation. I'm like, she didn't. She did. Yes, my sister did. So, yes, you can too, right? Yes, you can conquer all of these internal dialogues or fears. Yes, you can. I want to address something that I saw about Margaret saying that one girl irks her, right? There's a particular girl at her work and it's an atypical form for her. And so that's what she was saying. And
Oh,
really, sometimes our energies are so strong and so clearing that it can either bring something past life up in you, it can be
yeah.
something from your ancestors up in you, it can also be your mission to, as part of your thing, your contract, to awaken this woman to her own folly, right? Like she's calling someone in to tell her off. She's calling someone in to do that. And you don't have to be subject to that. But once you realize that, hey, this is external, this is weird, this is not something that is naturally me, then you can start to really figure out where it's coming from. And you can see how that girl is setting up her life, right? Because people who want to be made the victim do a lot of things to become the victim when
Mhm.
now some people are naturally suffering and some people have that kind of stuff. That's a different story. But
Right.
when people are in their la-di-da world, just you know they don't think their shit stinks, like sometimes we got to tell, they get to be told, right?
Right. It's time. But that's true. I had an incident like that at work one time too, and I always call a nickname. I will not share that on here. But anyway, and found out that we had an incident where I had wanted to order some T-shirts for my team, my dance team, and she made me go on ahead and buy the dance the shirts for the team. However, when I went on ahead and had one of my students, former students that made up T-shirts, do it for her, she wanted to backpedal and say that she didn't want to do it. I drove home. I had another one of my things about ancestors again. And I flashed out and I seen my uncle. And my uncle was like, she owes our family line money. Well, he's spiritual too. And so then I was like, what? So we found out really from that meeting that whatever it was that again from ancestors on the plantation, again, this is not ancestors again. She promised her lineage, from my understanding, when I sat and I meditated, had owed us and said that we were free, and they reneged it and said we weren't free and made us stay on the plantation. That's why our
Mm.
souls met at that time to make that right. Now I was scared. I was still kind of in my ancestral lineage, and I was like, "Oh, okay, she owes me, but I'm not." My student helped to fuel me up to say, "No, we're gonna get our money. She owes us for these T-shirts because she told you I was there, so she's going to do that." After we had straightened it out, she gave me the money for me to pay my student for making the T-shirts. I heard no more. I didn't know it from that lady at all because I worked for an after school program. So, and I felt in my soul, I said, it is finished. And I haven't heard from her. I haven't worked from her. She retired from a position from the school as the after school.
Bye.
And then that, but my say this all is that again, sometimes you come in that moment to rectify whatever had happened in the past in you all's lineage to make right for that moment in that present time there. So that goes back again. It don't have to be that super deep, Margaret, for you, but it could be again, it's something about that karma that you all have got to come together, that you got to rectify, you got to teach her so she'll know. And then from that point on, who knows, she might quit, she might say, I found a better job, I'm going someplace. And then, that's the end of that lesson. So, these people that come here to irk our nerves, and that lady irked my nerves. That's why she got that nickname that she did. Is it's a reason for why they do that. And again, it's for us to dig our heels in. I will admit I wasn't strong enough. I still was kind of like scared, but it took the power of somebody on the outside, my student who was younger, to tell me that no, we gonna get it because you just do that, and you know you're supposed to. We're not gonna bow down to her terms. I know how to handle this, and it took for her to do that for me to take the lead and say, okay, now I'm strong enough. I can back you up on that. I got it, so we can do this. So you never know what those people come in to help to show you. She came there, my student came there as a reminder, remind me about me understanding my worth and what it was that I was supposed to. If I said that and I made an agreement, and she told me, and I went through with it, that was for me to go ahead and stand on my principles and say, you know what, you owe me this because again, you told me to do this. And so again, my student just reminded me of my worth, and the whole
Beautiful.
situation did.
Beautiful.
So that's again, that's you just don't know how those situations come to be able to a reminder of who you are, and that probably from back then again with the ancestral saying we were supposed to be free, but they snatched it back and said no, you're not. That was them about their worth. So again, that was me clearing it out and getting it together from that point on. She did ask me. I forgot that another lady did ask me that won't come back for the program. I was like, no, I just died. Don't ask me to come back. I'm finished. So that's it. What she said, she don't like that my individual parents like me. What who is that? This what Margaret? What was this? This is what she say.
Hello.
She don't like that my individual parents like me too, not just
Her.
her.
Oh.
She's not my boss, but true. What she thinks she's your boss.
Oh Lord, she is having. This is the beginning. So some people have issues. This is going to be a serious Mercury retrograde. This is the apex of the backwards. What's it called? Planets backwards. Yes,
Retrograde.
it's the Lord send me. So Freaky Friday. No, but so this is the beginning, right? Where it's beginning the Mercury retrograde. It's like stationary or something like that. So it's like the wind up. And for me, what I love about Mercury retrograde is when I have the most clarity. So I think I'm gonna check and make sure I wasn't born in Mercury retrograde. It would make a lot of sense though. But that's why it's backwards all the time. Every time I'm talking to anybody, so the I know everybody I've been talking to have been having issues with like talking and texting and editing. Like I'm sitting here clicking on one thing, and somehow the mouse point is over here, and I'm like, is that even a thing? Like when did that become a thing, right? So having patience for that, and it's okay if you get a little tongue-tied. Just take your time to have compassion for yourself and others.
Right.
This I feel like we could go on and on tonight. I feel like it's a good day because we can feel the joy and the relief on the other side, but we're still like, lotus in the mud right now. Kathy D was like, it's clear as mud, and I was like, good thing I'm a lotus.
And I think that pretty much like these times that, some of us had those highs and those lows, let's be honest. And this is the time where we can kind of get together with like-minded or like spiritual soul like it, so it's like-minded. So like soul that we will be able, I'm trying to flip up the thing, that we'll be able to kind of get together and to talk about that. I think we're at this point, like I said, I feel we're very vulnerable. We're very open, and it's like we want those connections, those sincere connections, those authentic connections too, as well. And so that's how we're just feeling like we're just synergizing. Like, yes, I feel like a lot of us almost, I'm seeing a plug inside a plug inside a plug inside a plug. It's like we're plugging in almost like an outlet on us all together. And it's like we're also fueling each other too by us having this synergy. That's why it's always good when you come together at events and things like this, so we can be able to recharge our batteries, because we feed off of each other's energy when it's the good vibration things that fuels us to be able to do that on the playground experience. So it's just not us, but that's just anything that you have that's good vibrations too. So I feel like I feel in my intuitions that it is something that's needed, and that's why we feel like we want to go on and on because we're trying to feed each other and trying to elevate as well.
So, Kathy.
Hmm?
This is the facial expressions with the texting sounds. It's so cute.
Like,
Okay, because I thought she was gonna say something, but what I was reading in my comment was for Margaret. The intuitive picturing I got was two sisters at war. Not that one, but the one
now
two
I'm giving
ones
her
before.
that because I feel like a kid in the classroom. Like she's like me. I want to celebrate
Did you
y'all. I want
see
to celebrate
my comment about me
y'all.
XDM?
Right.
So proud of him for
Yeah,
being
yeah, healing by
good job.
over. Yeah, good job. Because I feel like
Hmm.
classroom. You didn't see my comment, Miss Booker. I said something. So yeah.
she it seems like there's an issue with it's like sisterhood and competitiveness, and a lot of women are put at each other's throats in and under the masculine patriarchal imperialistic old paradigm, right? But that stuff's shifting out, so she kind of needs to realize that she probably talks about herself like she's a feminist and she does all this and that, but she doesn't see her latent behaviors that she's doing in an attempt to control you. You
Oh,
might remind her of certain family and stuff in this lifetime, or certain experiences that she felt like she wasn't seen or she wasn't enough, or whatever. Choose me,
true.
then I have approval internally, because some people do that. Like, look at me, I'm like, see, and I'm like better than everyone because that's how mommy and daddy should told me that that's how I deserve love, or that's how I can finally feel rewarded in that way. And so, especially when we're all wounded, I'll put that out there. We're all in a state of perpetual healing, right?
True.
Because unless we are just a brand new fetus, you know, then we are all in a state of um, something is waning, something is changing, and it's all about how you feed the now. So we start to see long-term work. So we start to see the effects of our meditation, and then when we stop, we see the effects of not meditating, right? And so
Hmm.
when we're doing the self-care, that's going to be our main connection. We're really intimate with ourselves and let ourselves see the stuff we don't want to see. Like, oh man, I've been so hard on myself. I haven't gotten anything done for like 4 months because I've just been beating myself up that I'm not good enough for doing all this stuff. But then, hey, I'm doing it, right? Right. So I wanted to do a little bit of meditation to connect us real quick
Okay.
before my son picks up his thing. We're just going to do a little bubble and we're going to fill up from heaven. So this is going to be an interesting shift. So I apologize for those of you who is late at night and you want to go to sleep. You can play this again in the morning for your little buzz. Okay. Take a deep breath in and out with a sigh. Just relax. That helps relax the body. Get you on that vibration. 2 more times. We're gonna do that. Take a deep breath in, filling the belly and the chest as big as can, and sigh out. Relax the belly, and then on this one, we're gonna breathe in again, all the way from the bottom to the top. And then we're gonna start to fill up our back a little bit, our upper back and our neck. Just fill, and release. Let yourself collapse. Beautiful. And let your breathing normalize, and I want you to envision a bubble or egg of protection around you. And this egg goes from silver to gold to rose gold to violet. And around that bubble or that egg, you can start to see your guardian angels, archangels coming to protect you, guide you, and allow you to feel connected with yourself in this space. Go ahead and take a deep breath in. And just wave your body from side to side. Allow space to work itself into your body. So now you're a little bit bigger energetically than before. And we're going to breathe in from the heavens. Actually, let's start with our feet. We breathe in from our feet to the center of the earth, and then about 6 feet under the earth or wherever it is you're sitting. If that's the next apartment, whatever it is, you envision a light anchoring you, connecting you to the grid and the wall. And then below that, it goes deep into the veins of the lava core of our planet, and that lava starts to slowly rise up to that anchor point 6 feet below the earth. And then into your feet chakras, go ahead and wiggle your toes up through your calves and your shins to your knees, into your knees, into your root. You squeeze your pelvic floor and like you're pulling it in, it squeezes, pulling it up to the sacral. Squeeze your lower abs. And the energy just keeps filling you up from your sacral to your solar plexus, up to your heart, filling up and pulling down your shoulders, your elbows, your wrists, filling your hands with this molten golden liquid fire and magma from earth. It fills your arms, your biceps, all the way up. Now you've been filled and it starts going up to your throat, into your lower dreams. Kind of relax your jaws, kind of give a wiggle if you need. Right here. And up, behind the nose, behind your eyes, up, top of a volcano, just slightly bubbling out. And this attracts the heavens energy. And deep from within space, that energy comes down straight into your crown. Like a beam of light through the molten magma goes to the third eye, into the well of dreams, that's the base of the skull, filling up the core of you with this golden light through the magma that's heating, connecting to your. This golden light goes into the throat and down into the heart. And squeeze your pelvic floor again. And that's the golden energy down into the heart, the solar plexus, into the sacral, to the root. And I want you to kind of pulse those lower pelvic floor muscles and let the energy of the high heavens start to go through your core from the center to down through your shoulders, out through your biceps and triceps, and then in through your hands. So you've got the light energy going through there, and then it goes through your hips, down through your thighs, through your knees, through your calves and shins, your ankles, and through your soles of your feet, and the tips of your toes. All of this energy is starting to glow through you, coming up from your earth and down through the heavens. You feel this energy start to swirl inside of you and bubble over. This golden magma light just has so much radiance. It's shining in every direction. And it overflows and starts to coat the outside of you, coats the outside of your face. You start to feel it dripping down the back of your ears, over your ears, and down your neck, your spine. And then go down your neck, over your heart, over your shoulder, and covering your arms and your breasts and your belly, over your back, dripping down your buttocks, all down your thighs and legs, just dripping, dripping, and filling up this protective bubble. This bubble starts to fill up with all of this energy from the heavens and the earth. You balance the in between. And it starts to fill up this bubble or this egg up to your ankles. It starts to fill up through your calves, Covering your thighs. Go ahead and squeeze your pelvic floor muscles again, just to keep it active and milking that energy from both of them. Here, manifesting in your crystalline body. And it starts to go up past your belly button, past your solar plexus, filling up the egg all the way up in to your heart space, filling up to your throat. And it starts to fill up chin level, ear level, eye level. Fills the whole all the way up. And it wants to go somewhere. So I want you to feel this energy. It's in so much abundance from both the earth and the heavens. Through you, through your earth, your space. And I want you to take this moment, put your hands over your heart, and with the back of your heart space, I want you to let this light from you shoot directly up about 50 feet from your heart, the back of your heart. It just keeps pouring out this love and abundance, this security, this safety, this knowing, this connectedness. And then, since it's 50 feet above you, the wind carries it further up into the stratosphere. And all of us who are watching throughout all time and space, our energies weave together like a giant rope of light and energy wherever we are. It just takes a straight curve towards the other lights. In fact, we have multiple tendrils, is what it's feeling like, going to all these other light beings who are in this energetic space with us. And our lights are connecting all over the planet, like ropes spinning directly, lighting our planet, lighting our earth, connecting with our beings, connecting with the heavens, awakening our planet to our power, our gifts, through us, holding our space, holding our abundance, holding our safety, holding our connection. Even now, take a deep breath in. I want you to go ahead and wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, shrug your eyebrows, maybe do some John. Come back, tappy tap tap them if you want. This is one of those Donna Eden points right here at the thymus. It's an awesome spot to help ground you in your body when you feel like you're in fight or flight. These ones are good too, the clavicle ones. And yes. Okay, so how are we feeling? How are we doing?
Feeling
Kathy
good.
looks like she's in the in between. Now's the time. Make a wish.
What's the lottery numbers again?
As you were talking, I kept seeing Divine Sunshine in a black dress with the Greek keys, the pattern.
Uh-huh.
And they were white, but then in between there were like little streaks of like hot pink.
Wow.
And you
That's
were
cool.
dancing.
What?
I don't know.
Yeah, I was out of it. I did go out. I was all over the place. I got to
I was just like, oh.
Drink lots of water.
I got my tea. I got a little tea.
Hmm. I feel
Wow.
pretty cleaned out on that one.
I
Yeah.
feel kind of wiped out on that one. I'm like, well, I could go to sleep like right now.
Yeah,
You-
I did some travel.
and that's our show.
Good night.
Roll the credits. All right, then. If you want to hear from these ladies here, right here, and it really is going to be for this goldenlight.com, where you can get that 9x9 package that she talked about as well. So you get all that good stuff over there. That is her special that she is running over there. Let me see. Hold on a second. This so long. It's so way freaking down. It's no, you shouldn't be that far down. Used to be down at the top bill up here at the top. There you are. You're number one. All right, and if you want some good stuff from Kathy D, Pineapple Fish, lifecoaching.com. If you want to go over there, she's got that package, that program going on with the Disney World package. Are you finished with the princesses and
Nope, we're still working on them.
still working on that? I told you, that's fine.
Well, but see, I had that kind of wrinkle thrown in last week. See, I can tell everybody now I have gotten a new job. I am no longer teaching middle school. I am teaching high school art now. So that might be a little bit of a hiccup in the program, but I know it's all going to work for the best. I think there's going to be something that I get from the teenagers that maybe I have missed in the program, because there's a couple spots that it just feels like there's something missing.
Mhm.
And so I think these kids are gonna provide a lot of that for me, and we get to do a life coaching kind of thing with the kids. So I'm really excited about that. They've kind of said that there are some kids that they want me to spend some time with specifically. So
Okay, all right then. So that right there, you heard from her. She's still working on that good package as well. I know even with me over there at Divine Youth Souls I have had a package, but I knew it's time to stop, especially what we do as teachers. We have to find ourselves kind of putting things back, because I think in some ways we have, like I call it, double dharma, was the education, but we know it's the spiritual and trying to marry both of them. So when one thing, the real world, like, oh, we had to dive into the matrix and become part of it and do our spiritual work there. A lot of times something goes on the back burner. And that's the real, truly the spiritual by itself component. We find ourselves kind of bringing the divine masculine energies and divine together. With like I said, I'm going to put over there, so watch out on Divinely Speaking Unplugged, the YouTube channel. I am going to put the ancestral clearing 101 class. I had did it for Patreon, but I'm going to do it again, because even when I went back and looked at it myself, I always say this channel saved my life. Me doing this stuff, because it also, I find myself like forgetting, like, I said that. I'm like, Urkel, did I do that? He's like, okay. I said, oh my God, that's some good stuff there. I said that. And so again, I find myself looking at things that's old and really preaching to myself. So I'm going to bring that back in, especially when I had that thing about the plant, and how I had the ancestral clearing just from taking leaves from a plant and feeling like I'm on a plantation. So I think that needs to be brought up, since we talk about things that being cleared. So look for that this weekend. I'm going to edit it, and then I'm throwing it out there with that. And I'll try to look if I can find the PowerPoint presentation that some of you all need to see that, and I'll put that up there for free. I've been asked to, I'll probably do that Saturday, to do a card reading and ask spiritual guides to tell us specifically what we need to work on with that. So I might add that into there as well. But I'm being guided to put that on there for you guys for the page. So we'll see on that. So that's what I've been guided on, to do that one. Check me out on my podcast too as well, Divinely Speaking Unplugged. Good topics over there. So make sure you hit me up on that one. That's always current. With that, I have
And
that.
it takes the place of her. You remember when she used to do the morning drives on her show? I think it's like that. Like, it gives you a nice amount of like time and some like really good info. So definitely check out her podcast. I'm loving the style.
Thank you. Yeah, so it is. It takes away me driving. Kathy D say, "Oh my God, you're gonna get number." So that way I don't do that, and I love that. That's my blogging through podcasting too as well. So make sure you check that out. That's always current. And last but not least, make sure that you always click like, share, and subscribe to the channel as well. So you can be able to playground experience. Make sure that you have that, so you can always be updated about new notifications. I might do this for a while. I'm instructed to kind of do this for a while, because it's a community, and I don't know how, for the life of me, how my podcast is getting uploaded on Divine Unisource 11. I don't know what I hit, but it takes and puts my podcast on it too. So that's really where Divine Unisource is becoming like a community thing. So I'm saying, well, maybe I'll put the playground and that on there, since it looks like it's just putting everybody's stuff on there. So, I'm like, What it is, the spirit is Jesus. No, this how we gonna do it, boo. We putting all that up here on this channel.
People need you.
I ain't listening to you. We about to take over. All right, then. As always, get on out of here, Kathy D.
Well, make sure that you take all the sand out of your virtual shoes and socks. You clean up after yourselves, take home your own buckets, and always wishing you your best life ever. See you real soon.
All right, April.
Stay blessed, stay golden, and remember, you were made for this golden life.
And always, we got our own.
Where's her Mercury besides out the window?